Hi, my name's KT Ka'iolani Leota, and I've decided to draw my life with an emphasis on my literacy narrative. If you've never heard of Draw My Life, it's a thing that started with YouTube stars, where they would draw their life on a whiteboard and tell their viewers their life story. Everyone who has made one has allowed people to see into their life and know them on a deeper level, and that's my hope that I can do with you. In early childhood, my literacy narrative really starts with when I started to read. Growing up, I was never the fastest reader. I had a problem with skipping words and sentences, and I struggled with it so much that my parents had me start doing this thing called Hooked on Phonics until I felt like my head was going to explode. Even though I can't tell you what I really learned, it somehow made me a better reader, and I started reading fluently. I'm never really fond of reading, but I could write until there was no paper in the house, anywhere, no napkins, no nothing. I just loved writing about stuff and making up stories. And that helped in school, but I really had no desire to read books for the next important years of my life. Then middle school hit. When the important years of middle school came, I resented reading anything that was more than a page, maybe. We were forced to read books that were extremely boring. Or so I thought. Because, let's be honest, everyone in middle school has a life that is just so important. It was all about going to the mall and hanging out with friends. And weirdly, in middle school, all you do is go to the mall. Does anyone notice that? Maybe it was just me. I don't know. But high school hit, and either way, I was probably destined to fail if I continued to hate books as I entered high school. And I think that's when I started not to mind books so much, because from that moment on, it kind of started progressing, and I read one book after the other. It was dumb that it took me until high school to realize that I could read a book and that interested me and that I could enjoy, because most books were shoved down my throat all of my life. And when I got to my senior year, I met a teacher that changed the way I look at literature and literacy for the rest of my life. I'd never met someone so passionate about books and about writing. She always encouraged me, and I never felt like I didn't belong in that literacy world. As cheesy as that sounds, I honestly realized through her that there's so much passion in books that I could understand on a deeper level because I was a writer. Through our activities and mostly through her own passion, she helped all of us realize that you can write with passion when you read. You're entering into other people's passion in their writing. So when you're reading, you get to enter into other people's passion through their writing. And when you see literacy and literature in that view, you can't view it any other way. One day in particular, this teacher approached me after class and sat me down. I was kind of nervous, thinking she was probably going to tell me that I did something wrong. But she looked at me and said, "Katie, you're an amazing writer. I love the way you write with so much passion and heart." And that was the biggest compliment ever, because it was coming from one of the teachers that I learned all of that from. She went on to talk about how she teaches on AP courses, how she was disappointed in me for not taking AP classes or her AP English class. And she offered to pay money for me to take the AP exam. And I was not an AP student. This teacher believed in me so much that she paid for me to take the AP exam. And if I passed, I could get college credit. And she said if I couldn't, then it was worth a try. Because she believed in me, I did it. And I didn't get a high enough score to get college credit. But later when I talked with her and apologized for not doing so well, wasting her money, she leaned forward and whispered into my ear, and she said that I had done better than some of her AP students that she would invest in the entire year, and that she was proud of me for doing it. And because of her love for me, I was encouraged to be confident in my own literacy journey. And I grew and learned so much as a writer and a reader, and mostly as a leader. And I've come to really believe that you have to tune your eyes to see into the passion of the writing, to see the author's overflow. And as a writer, you have to be willing to pour out your reckless passion into writing, because that's how you get people interested and to care about what you have to say. My teacher made it about passion and writing from the heart, which not only shapes my literacy narrative, but also broadens my perspective in life. If we can't connect to things that we learn in our life, there's very little reason to actually learn them. So let me ask you this. How do you see the world based on your own literacy narrative?